Hi guys, this is Crossy and welcome to the second in the series of removing the Rust games that I'm covering at the moment. Haven't thought of a better name for it, I'm sorry, so apologies for that one. But this is going to be live on my Twitch TV channel and on YouTube, and the goal of it, quite simply, is to get from the rusty state that my shoutcasting is right now and try and get at least somewhere near the level where I used to be pretty good at this, or so people said anyway. So I've been doing a few games to sort of 15, 20 people, if that, and I've learned from that my analysis is pretty much on point. Main reason for that being that I'm probably watching more CSGO than I ever did when I was shoutcasting Counter-Strike Source back in the day, and used to be pretty good at that. So as far as analysis goes, I'm pretty much sorted on that front, I think, but my play-by-play needs a lot of work. My vocabulary is limited to pretty much 2 or 3 phrases for a start, which is pretty poor. So a lot of work to be done on that one. So for this next game I'm going to cover for you, I am going to be working mostly on my play-by-play, which means a little more or a little less analysis than you'd normally hear from me, and what you'd normally expect from a cast. I think if I start rambling off on a point, I'm going to break it off to make sure I get all the action in. So that's the plan for this one. Be interesting to see how it goes, and with any luck I won't be doing too many of these videos before I feel like I'm kind of on point with my casting again. If you want to drop me any comments, then please let me know, but I'm not going to be publicising this all that much because some of the games are going to be terrible, I think. No other better way to put it. But it's a learning experience and you got to get through this stuff. So we're going to go live then with the game, and we're going to be watching a game from the Mad Catz Invitational tournament, which recently took place in Birmingham, and this is going to be a game between VeryGames and the British team Anexis, using their sub Mole, who is filling in for Husey, who's going to be the new addition to that team after PRB dropping out. But that's enough of me talking. I've got the game ready to go live, so let's get straight to it. So here we are then, we are live on this game. I am making good use, I say good use, it's probably not, of the auto director feature, as I want to concentrate on the things I need to work on, not be messing around with, we're trying to keep up with the action. That's the plan anyway. So we are already seeing, as VeryGames try and even things up, they are 3 men to 2 down though in this first round. On board with Mole, the short-term stand-in for Anexis, and he takes Scream on the site, followed by Weber, who cuts down Kenny S, making great use of the Glock on short, and that takes it first round on the board to Anexis, who did a really good job while I was rambling away there, mowing down 3 VeryGames players very early on. VG, who are pretty much still counted as the second best team in Europe, despite never being able to topple the top guys NIP at LAN. They still have that second spot. Going to be looking to prove that there as Rattlesnake steps in, and nice work with the MP7 control burst, taking Smiths down in the short area. He had pushed up there on short and was trying to peek up mid and make something happen, but didn't catch Rattlesnake down there in the lower, who used great use of that gun. And to be honest, you don't really seem to see it at some sort of mixed level or the like, but some of the top teams in Europe are making use of MP7s, as we see MX trying to make something happen with the Mac 10. Interesting choice there, and he does manage to get a frag with that one. MX has managed to get himself onto the site, but he is being pinned in from a couple of angles. Nice work again, taking down Nathan from short. Existence below the site, trying to work something, but no such luck. He is cut down by MX, who has already got 3 frags on the board, and he's trying to push for his 4th one as he's got Scream up there on short. Scream, nice work with the P250 taking the headshot, and that's the second one, taking down Rattlesnake as well, who crosses in, trying to get Scream, who they know is on low HP, 4 to be precise, and it's all kicking off in mid between Scream and Release. Release comes out on top in the end, and that takes it to 2-0. So Anexis is going to be looking to push through and take this next round as well, as you'd expect. You win the pistol, you've got a good chance of piggybacking through to the next two, as you've got your guns against their pistols. Because the economy is slightly different on go, as you might not have expected if you're still living in the past and playing Source or 1.6. You can get away with second round buys on CT if you win that first round, but didn't happen here for VeryGames, and they've got a bit of work to do as MX once again picking up some early frags as he gets 2 down long. Release rips Existence's face off as he tries to step out and push through tunnels, maybe being a little bit aggressive there, but on the pistol round you kind of have to think maybe we need to get these rounds out of the way if we can, and trying to get a push behind there, no such luck. Release is in a bit of a battle in mid, trying to spam his AK through. Rattlesnake pushing up to sight. Nade's going to be coming in and Flash is coming in, as well as Weber gets the plant. So him and Rattlesnake going to try and make something happen with Kenny S on short. Scream cut down by Release, and Release gets Kenny S as well, coming in from behind. That is awesome. And Release with his 3-man causing trouble. He was all over the map there, picking up rotates, coming in behind at short there to pick up 2. Auto-director did miss that one, you might have just seen that. Apologies, this might not be the greatest viewing experience on a number of levels, but I feel like doing live games is the best way I can practice this, so that's the plan. I'm going to see the Anexis team work. It looks like it's going to be a split as Weber pushes through, and very nice job taking down Kenny S. This is the first buy versus buy round, remember, as Mole is mowed down by Scream. Scream gets a second, getting MX up on the ramp. Release does get revenge in the end, but there's Existence and Nathan with frags on Weber and Rattlesnake respectively, and Release does get the plant down, so that's going to help their finances, which aren't in the worst shape anyway. Release gets a kill, taking down Smiths. Nade from Existence does finish him off, and VeryGames are going to pull this one back to, well, it's going to be 1-3. Nathan gets on his defuse. As for Anexis, it looks like they might be considering another buy here, though. MX bottom of the money chart with 1-5, and yet with the guns they've got, or with the money they've got, I should say, they are going to be on a buy here. No pressure still on for VeryGames. They could end up dropping this one. It's a second chance for buy v buy. Rattlesnake in mid against Kenny S. Both of them missed their shots. Kenny S very quickly deciding he doesn't want to take on Rattlesnake again. Wise move, I would say, and drops out and goes to back up in B. Where Release is in there. Already started making a bit of a nuisance himself, but Kenny S gets aggressive, peeks the angle, and takes down Release as he tries to throw a flash in. So, interesting play from the VeryGames AWPer there. Some could say it's a little bit aggressive. If he got a crisp headshot with that AK and got taken out, then it definitely would have been too aggressive. But 2020 hindsight is a wonderful thing. In the end, it works out well from taking Release down. Bit of a slow build-up now then. Anexis were going to look out for that early pick, but they regroup and decide to push short. Smith jumps up on the box and gets 1, make that 2 as he drops down, taking Weber as well. Going to chop off an auto-direct and see what's going on. So Mole stepping in as a merc for this LAN only, as Yuzi is going to be taking his full-time position with Anexis very soon. Up on short, gets blinded. Kenny S with the AWP trying to spam through. Rattlesnake, though, does take him down instead. Those two had an interesting battle at the start and both missed their shots. Rattlesnake wasn't going to let that happen again. But with 15 seconds left on the clock, money is still not in their favour. Mole drops down into short, throws that flash off, kind of catches himself. I'm sure he didn't plan to do that, but no worries. And both of them will drop out and keep hold of their guns. Nice work from VeryGames, though. They have taken it to, well, it's only 3-2 in favour of Anexis now. 2 rounds on the spin for VeryGames. And aside from Mole and Rattlesnake, they've kept their guns. It is going to be an eco from Anexis. Kenny S going to be squaring off against Rattlesnake. Deciding he doesn't even want to peek that Death Alley angle. He's just keeping his eye on the tree area. Fair enough. Mole trying to spam off a few shots and get the pick down long. VeryGames not giving him that opportunity. The two long players are starting off quite passive. They now start to work down. And we've got 3 players down long. Could see a surprise push and VeryGames shaping up here. Weber steps through and takes Kenny S. So just peeks the angle there and manages to cut down the AWPer with Galil. It's always useful if you've got a player like Weber in the team who, yeah, okay, you can say what you like about him sort of off the server as such, but if you watch his individual play, he's an awesome little player and plenty of growth as well for him, plenty of potential to improve even more. And Anexis, despite being on a part buy, have managed to get a bomb down on the site. Rattlesnake is picked off by Nathan, who is down long. 2v1. Nathan getting a bit of attention, and Release takes his time over that one, but does manage to take him down in the end. So Anexis halt the 2-round bit of momentum for VeryGames, and it's 4-2 back in their favour, and the French team are now stuck on pistols. P250 is going to be the buy, and the P250 is pretty much the best chance that CTs have to compare against the Glock, which is a starter pistol for terrorists, and the Glock is now pretty sick, I've got to admit. Whilst the Deagle that used to be king in both of the previous versions of Counter-Strike is now pretty much worthless. It's not worth the dollar that you're forking out to it, because your starter pistols, or one you can grab for $250, work out as a better option. On board with Rattlesnake as he takes down Smiths coming in. He was part flashed, but the VeryGames player was completely blind, and that's all that matters. Existence does manage to get one, but he's cut down by Weber, who barrels up. MX gets one, and Release mops up, grabbing Scream as he pushes through mid-doors. So Anexis, nice work from them. They're getting in there, they're getting their picks, and then they are barreling on in numbers, which is what matters. Sometimes you see teams, they get a pick somewhere, and then they don't work on it. They go and they try and get a pick somewhere else, and like you've gone and softened up the site, you're making people rotate, so I'm inclined to say push fast somewhere. Either on the site you just got their pick, or go the other way expecting they'll be rotating. Get yourself in on the plant and on the site, and then they've got 45 seconds to come in and try and retake you. Going to see a fast strat coming in here from Anexis, and Release stepping out the smoke, taking down Existence, no worries there, and Release is in there with a second, taking down Scream as well. Rattlesnake goes in and grabs the rotate, no he doesn't, as Smith takes him down. Kenny S with the AWP trying to make something happen, and as the bomb goes down, it is now 3v3. One player on each side is tagged up to about half HP. Kenny S steps in and nice flick of the wrist takes down Weber at the back of sight. Mole gets one. MX gets one as well. So 2v1. Smith is on low HP. Surprised that nade didn't kill him, and it's a tense 1v1, but MX comes out on top, and that takes it to 6-2. So Release having a huge game, and MX has been collecting frags in bunches during a couple of these rounds as well. So those two standout players. Rattlesnake with his AWP hasn't even had to get going with that one, which is fair play. And for Anexis, they've got one player in there who is no doubt with them for a reason in Mole. If they can try and take a bit of the workload off him, then that's all the better for them. MX takes down Nathan, and Smith is there as well, so MX gets two on the push-up short. He's got Kenny S trying to cut him down, has to drop to the pistol. MX on the 3-man, and he's dropping out there. Weber does mop up Existence, who is hiding on the A site. All down the screen then, 1v4. What has he got left? Could be an ace if he gets this one, as he did take down MX with the pistol. Got a bit of attention from Rattlesnake with the AWP. Rattlesnake missing a fairly comfortable AWP shot for him, but he does mop up in the end. Screen goes down, and it is 7-2 in favour of Anexis. Probably worth mentioning at this point that this is a group stage game, so it's not in the later stages of the tournament. If either one of these teams drops this one, then it is not game over for them by any means. But you know, against the second team in Europe, Anexis would love to pick up this game if they can and swing the advantage in their favour. give him a good bit of momentum going forward. A Scream has got Webber trying to peak the angle. No such luck. And maybe a little bit of overconfidence from Webber there. Understandable if you're 7-2 up on Dust 2 against VeryGames. But, you know, that's not always going to work for you. And they're now 4v5. Rattlesnake's got his AWP in the tunnels, going to try and make something happen. He has got one at the back of sight, which he could take down and misses the shot. That's another fairly comfortable one for him. And Kenny S pops up and takes down Rattlesnake. Ambitious going for the pick there, and Mole does take him down in the end. Release catches Scream, who is flashed and blind and sort of stuck out in the open behind the box. MX has got 2 now. He managed to catch Nathan and Existence following up shortly after. Would have liked to have seen those two push in unison and one of them sort of spin out to the left and watch that angle, and that could have been prevented, and it could have been, it could have been 3v2 in favour of VeryGames rather than against them. Smith's nice work with the AWP, taking down NX as he jumps, and that's going to send the Anexis players scampering away into tunnels and go for the B plant. Going to jump off the old auto director, being brave, and I'm going to be on board with Smith as we see him. He's knowing exactly where this is going, steps back, sees one jumper and misses the shot by a mile. He was nowhere near that one. So he'd just be adjusting his angle so he couldn't get picked on that ramp, and that seemed to have cost him. And he's now stuck with it all to do in there in the tunnels. They know he's got an AWP, so neither of these two are going to be sitting at that back box area. Releasing the window. Playing it passive. That flash is going to do some damage as well. So both of them have dropped out the site. No Smiths is in there. Can he take both of them and get on that defuse? I am saying not, but nice no scope. Taking down release at the window. Cracking work from Mole though. Steps in through the door in unison and avenges his teammate. And good teamwork from those two. I mean, Mole, you'd be thinking he hasn't had that much time with the team. Jumping in just to fill in for this LAN, but he was exactly on point there, timed that to perfection, and in a situation like that you could have easily expected him to muck that one up, go too early or go too late and end up getting cut down, but no such luck for him. So, still on board with Smith because I haven't jumped out of Auto Director. Apologies for this. I will be getting back to running the show once I feel confident with everything else. I'm just trying to make sure I haven't got too much to think about all at once, if you see what I mean. Release is already on a 2-man, and he's got 3 now as he takes down Existence. He's got 1 round about the site. That's Kenny S. And he's got teammates barreling in to back him up if he can't get the frag himself. And looks like no such luck for Release. He's cut down by Scream coming up short, but Rattlesnake does the job on Kenny S. And it's down once again to Scream to try and come up with a huge 5-man. No such, doesn't happen. Takes down Mole, but with 3 Anexis players to find, he's unsuccessful. And this is 9-2 to Anexis. So Terrorist side on Dust 2, it is the easier side and has been on Counter-Strike for a number of years now, as Rattlesnake again missing a fairly routine AWP pick by his standards. It does manage to leg Smiths, who's there with the AWP, but that's all he manages to get and decides he's not going to re-peek that one. But Nathan does peek and gets Mole, who's sitting in the corner of long. Didn't seem to react to that one really, and only tags about 25 HP off at Nathan. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. Their numbers in favour of VeryGames, but only just. Bearing in mind as we look at the scoreboard here, Anexis, as they lose this one, they still have the cash to buy for probably 2 more rounds, maybe even 3 potentially, depending on how they play their cards right and their buys, and how keen they are to get Rattlesnake up with an AWP. And he has been struggling a bit with that, but he does take down Smiths there on the A site. So that's 1 AWPer down. Still got Kenny S playing back at B with his though. Rattlesnake trying to work the angle, trying to take down Existence. Existence peaks twice, and the second time was costly as Rattlesnake gets off his shot, and he's not going to miss it if you see, or if he gets 2 looks at you. Release cut down by Kenny S. MX trying to plant on the site with backup from Rattlesnake at the back. But Nathan is there, and it is very quickly 3 frags for VeryGames, and they bring another round into their favour. So it is 9-3 Anexis. Still going to see an Anexis buy here. They do have the dollar for that. And we are seeing a fast B on the go. So on board Scream, he's going to be facing first. Gets 2, but doesn't get the third. MX cutting him out and getting the angle there at car. So he will have been called by his teammates, no doubt. Existence getting MX as he crosses. Now Existence picking up an AWP. Interesting, and you do find that at this kind of level, some of the top players in Europe, they can all at some point pick up an AWP and do a half decent job, but Existence not the team's main AWPer as such, so interesting to see how he gets on with that one. Mole gets a plant on the site, leaving VeryGames a retake to make, but they do have a two-man advantage. Rattlesnake is getting hammered at the back of site as Nathan takes down Mole, and Rattlesnake with 4 players all trying to take him down, including Nathan, who mops up second, his second frag there in the site. And they go down, so it's 9-4 in favour of Anexis. And they are going to be going for another buy here. Why not? Got money in the bank, and if they can take it to 11-4 or even 10-5, then if they can somehow capture that first CT pistol, then they are well and truly on their way to winning this game, and there will no doubt be celebration if that happens. The UK scene needs a bit of help. It's been on its arse for quite a long time, for years really, all caused by teams setting up, going to an I-Series, not winning, and then folding in time for the next one. And that can't happen. That's not the way forward. And we need a team like Anexis with players like Weber and Release who have come through and either developing and have bags of potential, or in Release's case have already done that and made the big step up to this kind of level. As we see 2v2, Kenny S tagged down to low HP, he's on 2. And it is just him left with it all to do against Weber and Rattlesnake, who are keeping it tight in the site. Kenny S dropping well out. He doesn't want any part of that one, and he's just going to keep hold of his AWP for the last round if he can. No, 10-4. Already a tidy amount of rounds, but they're going to want to put their foot on the neck of VeryGames and pick up this last one as well if they can. On board Kenny S at mid, and he does not seem to be all that keen on challenging Rattlesnake. He's just stepping out and holding the angle on top of short. Interesting, but you know, fair enough. If you're not fancying it, you don't want to go and keep getting yourself picked for the sake of playing it the way you're expected to. As Release steps in and he keeps making entry picks as screen goes down. Kenny S at the back of sight is again cut down by Release, who's having a huge game. Existence in a spray down. Well, he's just spraying the gun as Smith gets 2 in the side for VeryGames, trying to pull it back, trying to make sure that they don't go 11-4 down. 2v2, bomb planted, Existence is in the site. Nathan's in the site as well. 2v1, Release, what can he do here? He's spamming around the heads, and Existence does get released, but those two were standing next to each other for VeryGames. If Release had managed to bang off 2 bursts to the faces of those two, then it could have been an epic clutch and would have been a 20 bomb for Release as well in that first half. But Anexis cannot complain about this. They are 10-5 up on Terror's side on Dust 2 against the second best team in Europe, potentially. And with Ninjas in Pyjamas not in attendance at the Mad Catz Birmingham Invitational Tournament, which is in connection with Gadget Show Live, this could be their first international tournament win since CSGO has come out. So they'll be looking forward to that one. I'm sure they'd much rather do it in a tournament where NIP are playing, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And we're just waiting for the switch to happen here. Or at least that's the plan. I thought if you picked up demos, this was all instant, but clearly not. So for those of you that have picked this up by some miracle, this is the Removing the Rust series, as I've decided to call it. It's a terrible name, I know. But this is going to be where I bust out some solo casts and try and iron out all of the sort of rustiness and the issues that have crept into my shoutcasting. I've been out of touch with it for quite a while. Starting to get back into it very slowly, but it's a little bit too slow, if you see what I mean. And I'd like to make sure I'm on point if anything major comes along. Like maybe a major tournament like an I-Series or a CPH Games, hint hint. Of course I've now moved out and got into my flat, so if free tickets and free travel are also included, then that would be awesome. And you know, my shoutcasting is so much better when I sleep in a hotel rather than crashing it on the floor. So I was a little bit worried that the demo might not continue into the second half looking at that, but it has. So here we go then, we are live, second half. Anexis playing on Terra's side have racked themselves up a nice 10-5 advantage, and it'll be good to see if VeryGames have some things in their locker they can drop out. Got a bit of a battle here at mid, interesting, and these teams are squaring off against each other, and Weber pushes up through the smoke and he's got a 3-man. This is awesome. Great work from Weber. Mole pushing in to try and help out up long as well. Weber has saved a couple for him, and it's all down to Scream in a 1v4. Trying to push into the tunnels. He's got Rattlesnake in there for company. Spamming around the big box. Scream does get one, taking down Rattlesnake. But he's got 3 more he wants to, or he has to find if he wants to clutch this one. Bomb down in the mid area. I'm going to get on board on Scream Cam. See what he's got in the bag. Does spot one over the top. That's going to hold this mid area. And as it's been spotted, they'll be changing their angles accordingly. Weber's still on for a 4-man if he gets the chance. No, MX is there to mop up. And already Anexis get that first round on the board. They're going to be looking to take it to 12 or 13. Without dropping another one here if they can, because it is going to be guns against pistols. And nice work from Weber. I thought that was going to be a terrible play as he pushes up through the smoke and through the flashes in mid, but he manages to get out and tuck into that little corner at the top of mid, and from that point he's able to cut down 2 without them even spotting, and the third one that does manage to react to him is also cut down. So ambitious play. If he'd got very quickly mown down by the 3 players from VeryGames at the top of mid, then that might not have gone down too well with his teammates. But as always seems to be the way for these talented players, they pull off these things, and you will very quickly forgive them for trying something a little out of the ordinary. And you need that sometimes with this game. As we see the push up short, Rattlesnake gets 2 with his famous, make that 3. MX with a nade mopping up as well. Yeah, that's going to be 12-5. Very impressive, but it was an eco bash effectively, so let's not get too excited. And Anexis are going to be looking to do the same thing again and take it to 13-5. But yeah, as I was saying, teams seem to be getting into the habit of being too passive. And this is an interesting boost. I've not seen that one before. It's that one of the VeryGames players managed to get on top of the mid-arch, but can't make anything happen from there. That's one of your Anexis players as well, sorry. MX takes down Existence as we see a short push. Scruton gets 1 on Rattlesnake below sight. Nathan cuts down the low HP MX, who only had about 5. Smith's also cutting down Mole. 3v2 in favour of VeryGames then. On board with Weber, he can always make something happen, and he's in there at short. Got his teammate Release to help him out. And Weber is kind of, so I'll go into this at the end of the round, As Release and Webber get one each. Release 1v1, takes down Nathan. Has he got enough time to get this defused? I think he has. And what a game this has been for Release. 22 frags already after 18 rounds of Counter-Strike. And he's up there at the very top of the scoreboard by some way. And Release is kind of going the route that Webber's going now. He's one of these players that was hanging around the same kind of level as I was back in CSS. We're talking a few years back now, probably 5 years, something like that. And he's in teams that weren't anything special. As we see spray down from Release, he gets one, but he doesn't get the second. There's a little bit of a flashback to his source days there, trying to spray and crouch, and that just does not work in the same way on go. But yeah, he came through and he wasn't anything special, and then suddenly he gets his chance in a big team, and he well and truly grabs it with both hands and earns it. And Webber's going the same way now. Immense amount of potential and a hugely talented player. Say what you want about his antics away from the game, and that's always something that you're going to have to watch out for. But he's going to grow and mature and no doubt put those behind him. And he's only going to go on and improve from strength to strength, as we see 3v3. Kenny S and Scream in the tunnels. Scream can't do much for his 11 HP. Doesn't really want to peek somewhere. Kenny S though will with the AWP. Nice passive play from Release, who steps and nearly gets lucky with that one, but Scream manages to land a crisp headshot with a 3-shot burst with the AK. MX does manage to get one. Scream on low HP is there for the taking 11 HP. And 2v2, bomb planted in the site. Kenny S with the AWP. Watching window, narrowly misses a shot. Mole gets in, but is taken with the AWP of Kenny S at the back, who is tagged down to 11 HP. Scream on 12 HP, so they're both low. Could be right for the pick in here. It's getting tense. And Scream manages to take down MX as he decides chasing down the AWP of Kenny S at the back is going to be the best option. And to be honest, it is, but it was a tough ask for him. As soon as he dropped into the site, he was going to be up against it. Maybe he could have pushed indoor, but as we saw, Mole tried that and was very quickly shut down with the AWP of Kenny S. So, tough. I don't think I would have played that any differently, to be honest, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. Tough position, tough clutch. But it's still 13-6 in favour of Anexis. They are on a pistol here, so going to be looking just to try and pick up a few kills if they can. Webber's got action. Existence jumps onto Xbox and takes down Webber. Always going to be the way, really. AK against pistol. Unless you can really get the jump on someone, but no such luck. Nathan gets Rattlesnake through the mid doors. He's got Mole and MX there as well if he wants to try and get tricky. Try and spam through with his pistol. And he's only on 52 HP, while MX has been nailed with a headshot and he's been dropped down to 17. Release gets Scream with his pistol. That was a bit of a range battle over in B tunnels. Nathan and Existence with frags though for VeryGames, and they are 4-1 up with the bomb planted. Release last man standing. I wouldn't put it past him to clutch the form he's been on this game, but I doubt he'll try. Just going to keep hold of this gun that he's got in his hand. Anexis is going to be on the buy anyway, so they'll be looking, if they can, to wrap things up. Release got a player rotating in from behind. He's got Smiths in CT, and Release does cut him down. Going to get hold of that AWP and tries to save it, but the explosion of the bomb is too much. He had to drop into CT to try and avoid being fragged, and in the end walked into the proximity of that explosion and was cut down for it. Notice I'm saying cut down a bit too much. I need to work on that. Kenny S trying to make something happen with the AWP. No such luck with that one. Also saying no such luck far too much. So had to try and keep on top of that. On board with Nathan stepping through, and that's Rattlesnake going down. He was flashed, but the flash went off just after he peaked the angle and managed to crack off his shot. So nice work there. Smith's with 2 quick frags, and that's MX and Mole falling. Scream making very light work of Webber from top and mid to bottom. Kenny S gets the plant down. Release last man standing once again. Go get on board with him as he takes down Scream. And that's Nathan that he manages to pick up the frag on up there on the short area. 1v2, so not out of the question, but as far as times run down, I don't think even if he gets the 2 frags, he's got a chance of the defuse. And once again, he's going to save. But he's pushing well on for 30 frags, his release here, and he's 9 ahead of his teammate MX. Mole a little way behind of the rest of the team, but he is the fill-in. So you can kind of let him off for that one, to be honest. 13-8 then, VeryGames. They're starting to get a bit of momentum going here on their terrorist side. Bearing in mind though, Dust 2 is a T-sided map. Has been for a number of years since the game of Counter-Strike started to get a bit more aggressive on the T side of Dust 2. As we see action, Release pushes up short and nearly manages to take down Smiths, but no, well, that's not a goer for him. On board with Mole, he's got action. He's got Nathan, who has been in some pretty tasty form with the rifles as he takes down Rattlesnake, who steps in on the cross. Nathan gets his second as that's that Mole that he catches in the end. So Nathan, haven't really been talking about him, but he's been doing a steady job racking up frags for his team. And so, oh, Webber with a long range P200. That's mental. That starter pistol for the CTs isn't all that in many regards, but if you can do things like that with it, you can let him off. And Webber's got a second as he gets Scream on short, and he's going to get an AK for his troubles. But 8 HP 1v3 with bomb planted. He's no doubt going to do the same thing as Release has the last couple of rounds and save that one. There's a chance of guns up for Anexis here next round, or they might decide they want to save one more and rack up a good amount of dollar and then close it out from 13-10. Webber going to get a bit of action. Scream, no, not Scream, sorry. Smith's peeking the angle, takes down Webber and grabs that AK that could well have been an Anexis at the end. But it doesn't happen. $13-9 then, and what have VeryGames got up their sleeve? It looks like a long push. More than MX though, with the what's the word I'm thinking of? Crossfire. That's the one. With the crossfire. Working well, and Rattlesnake picks up existence as he tries to peak the angle on short. Webber will no doubt be calling the action in tunnels, and we're seeing a fast push. Smith steps out and gives Webber the chance to peek behind. There is a gap at that box. That nade does cut down Webber though, so nice communication about his HP situation as Kenny S lobs that nade to the back. So we see 2 VeryGames players trying to drop over the back here. They've got Mole waiting for them, and he's got a bit of action there. Throws a nade in, that's going to do damage, but he's missed his opportunity. The element of surprise is gone, so he's going to try and fall back and play that one safe. And Mole's done a good job though. He has slowed down these 2 VeryGames players and pretty much pinned them over at T-Spawn for a little bit anyway. They're now going to try and push long. Call for the rotate is going to be coming in. Rattlesnake playing nice and passive on the site. Scream does cut him down as he pushes up. 2v2. Scream has to go for the plant. 5 or 6 seconds left to get that down, and he does. Flashes and smokes coming in from the short area. where both players from Anexis are pushing in. Mole takes down Scream. They got the low HP Orpa. Mole trying to peek. MX trying to peek the angle. One of them's going to go on the defuse, and that is MX going for it. Mole is taken down, but MX is just there long enough to get the defuse. Nice work from those two. MX goes straight in for the defuse, as you're pretty much taught these days in a 2v1. Mole sticks himself out and pretty much baits that AWP shot. And it works to perfection. Buys MX that extra second or two he needed to stay on the defuse. And I have to say, I'm impressed with Mole, because even though he's down there at the bottom of the frag charts, he's 5 short of the next nearest in Rattlesnake, he's playing the right way. He's playing in a way which supports his team. He's not he's not massively behind the play at any point, and he's made a couple of smart moves which have helped his team pick up rounds. So, very impressed with him, and they've done well with their stand-in, and he's coming out pretty big for this team against VeryGames, as we could see the draw racked up here. 5v3 as Existence and Smith go down, and Weber with both of the frags. And he's going to be trying to chase Release down if he can, but he's not going to be able to, as Kenny S grabs him stepping through mid with York. That smoke's going to try and stop Kenny S from doing too much from the crossover area. And Nathan does cut down MX. 3v3. Release caught by Scream. Those two have had some interesting battles, as Kenny S no-scopes Rattlesnake as he pushes through the smoke in CT. And from what was a 5 versus 3 in favour of the CTs, they are now 1v3. And Mole would be an absolute hero if he manages to clutch this, but he doesn't. Steps in, and he's caught by Scream. And the Scream propping himself up at the top of the scoreboard for VeryGames. So he's got 22 frags to his name. And the big thing about Scream, the big attraction, is he is a super sick fragger. His individual gameplay is immense, and that is why he's classed as one of the biggest up-and-coming players in Europe, as Rattlesnake takes an Existence, but frags being traded. Smith and Kenny get one for VeryGames apiece, and Rattlesnake getting one for Anexis. So, 3v3. Bomb in tunnels, on ball with Mole as he comes in to try and back up on the rotate. Scream stepping in, takes down Mole at the door. Does get tagged, but that's it. Scream's got a second on Weber. Watching the window, go try and get 3 and take down Rattlesnake if he can. Nade from Kenny S does the job instead. So VeryGames trying to pull this one back, but they can't drop any more rounds. If they do, that is a draw for Anexis. And they'll take that. They would definitely take that, but the way they've been performing here, the way Release has been performing, they are going to be disappointed if they don't pick up a win here against the second best team in Europe. Undisputed title to them at the moment, but it's not going to last long because there are other contenders coming in. Western Wolves looking impressive. Virtus Pro looking impressive. And that's just naming a few. The new Four Kings lineup is another UK lineup that could potentially go huge as time goes on. We shall see. Jury's still out on that one. It could be another expensive flop if they all move into a gaming house and then can't make anything happen. Action on short. Kenny S gets 1. Smith gets 2, taking down Rattlesnake and Mole on the short area. One playing close, one playing a little further back. Kenny S is going to get the bomb plant. Release trying to rotate in, but he's got 2 players, one watching from short and one playing close inside the tunnel, so he was in serious trouble there, and Nathan mops up Weber. So this is getting tense then. This is getting very tense. 14-12. VeryGames trying to pull this one back. They're going to try and snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat and take it to 16-14. That would be agonising for Anexis that started off this game so strongly. Brilliant T-half from them. So they are going to be guns up. They've got M4s and AWPs. Kenny S didn't really want a piece of Rattlesnake in the first half, but he's now stepping up and trying to be aggressive from that suicide alley. Not got any heads to try and take off though. 1 minute 15 left to go. And it looks like VeryGames are going to try and work something sort of spamming around short. Existence is pushing through mid doors. Trying to make something happen. Trying to open up a pick. Release stepping outside of the site to see what's going on. And he's got Existence there trying to make his way up ramp. Kenny S gets caught by Mole on the rotate behind. He had the back of Kenny S to try and shoot by Xbox. And Rattlesnake's got one as well. Mole picking up his second of the round. Trying to at least keep in touch with his teammates. He's doing a decent job of that now. He's got another one. Chance for 3-man for Mole, and he gets it. Nice work. As that rotate behind from Mole pushing out along did the job. Picked up a couple of frags in mid, and he got one on the push out as well. But most importantly, main talking point, 15 frags up on the board for Anexis. That is the draw guaranteed here. And they've got to be proud of that. But why should they keep it there? They are in a good situation. And Webber gets the pick on Nathan. No numbers in favour. Kenny S is down as well for VeryGames. So 5v3. Last time they're in this situation, VeryGames did pull the 5v3 back into their favour and picked it up. But Anexis, I'm sure, are not going to want to let them get away with that one again. Smith's trying to get some action up at long, but Mole being nice and passive on the site. Rattlesnake does start to pink now, and he comes in below sight with his AWP. Smith's spamming through the smoke, and does manage to tag Rattlesnake down to low HP, but well, does manage to tag him down by about 30 HP. Interesting, as Existence jumps into long, and he's going to try and make something happen with the AWP, but the two players for Anexis aren't peeking. They're being passive, which is exactly what they should do, and Mole does cut down Existence in the end. So Mole coming out on top with his M4 against the rifle. Smith's trying to push up, and he's tagged down to very low, but he does take down Webber on the short. 4v2, and VeryGames look like they can drop this one 16-12 potentially. Release in mid. Gets nailed, loses 20 HP through the door, but that's it. Smith has got the bomb. Going to try and sneak in after a call from Scream, who has cleared the site out. 10 seconds left to go. Got to get this plant down. Smith's on the cross. He's got blocked by Scream. Still has enough time to plant it, but no such luck. And the demo has stopped at the worst time. But I can confirm that that did finish 16-12 in favour of Anexis. So really nice work there. Thank you for those of you that have come across this by some minor miracle. Thank you very much for watching this one. This has been the Removing the Rust series, the second game in it, so it's still early doors. I'm trying to get my shoutcasting back up to that level that it once used to be. As you can probably tell if you've seen any of this, it's going to be a long road for me getting to that point. Much work still to be done. And I think the big area I need to improve on is what I've just done there for the most part is my play-by-play. And after this sort of practice game, it's clear there is still work that needs to be done on the play-by-play. So, yeah. All the learning experience for me though. If you do manage to catch this one either on Twitch TV or YouTube, feel free to chuck me some feedback. I will be more than happy to hear that. And if it's slagging me off, well, fair enough. I'm slagging myself off with this shoutcasting stuff because I have slipped a long, long way. But it's all got to get better from here, right? Thank you for listening. This has been Crossy, and I'll catch you next time.